This music's too fucking aggressive, boys. Got to change this around. Alright, so problem seems to have resolved. Welcome to my stream. I am a little bit worse for wear after some engaging in one of Australia's favourite pastimes, getting wasted on a Friday night. So I'm aware that this is running concurrently with another game, so I wouldn't begrudge you for going and checking that out. We got Bill versus Leniel, and this is a crab versus crane matchup. The crab's running a typical unicorn splash, and the crane's running crab splash, which is curious. It's a curious decision given the prevalence of dragon and scorpion. I'm not sure it's the best splash, but reprieve is pretty good. So Bill's getting passing fate here, and Leniel's just elected to go really wide, which makes a bit of sense. 5 bids all around. Bid 5 meta. Alright, cool. Okay, so you can say with almost certainty that the crab player won the toss because he was playing second. Looks like he's just going to go poke, see what's under there. Fair enough. And it's going to be a void ring. This is as much just denying the void ring for his opponent as it is wanting to claim it himself, because resolving a void ring against a 3 fate unit isn't that impactful, but stripping Brash Samurai or a Nourishment is pretty good. So, and first action Watch Commander, which is going to put a halt to this being much of a fight. I think the Crane's probably going to give this one up. That would be my guess. I like the decision to skip buying Satoshi turn 1 against Crane, because getting Noble sacrificed with that character will basically end your game if you don't have a save. And he is running 2 Noble sacks, so. Alright, we see policy debate. Bill's going to dump a little bit of honor here, 2 honor, and he wins the duel. And we've got Court Games, Katana, 2 for Shames, Pathfinder's Blade, another policy debate, Arrival, Reprieve, and the Steward of Law. This is interesting because, yeah, he goes for the Political Rival, which I think is pretty reasonable. It's not going to have an influence this turn, but it is a card that basically gets around these big defenders with Covert, and also prevents Crab being able to utilize their high political to break provinces. Hey Rhaegar, man, if your situation changes, you can come join me on cast, eh? My normal casting partner is AWOL, the illustrious Simkov. Okay, so yeah, so it's just going to be pass. Oh, meditation's pass. And we see a skirmisher. So this is going to be a water conflict, and he's going to be coverting that Brash Samurai. Almost certainly. The worry against Crane is that you've got 2 provinces that are going to give him fate, and he's got the Steward of Law and for Shame. So if you run into one, which he has, he's going to have juice to be able to end this conflict. So it'll be interesting to see what. It'll be interesting to see if Leniel wants to expend these cards to prevent this this Borderlands defender from readying. I think it's probably pretty important. Yep. So he's rocketed his fate up from 0 to 2, which is just Crane things. And I mean, if I'm him, I'm probably going to play this. I'm probably going to play this Steward of Law with a Fate and just hope he doesn't have an assassination, I guess. It's a bit of a risk. Okay, so Bill's threatening a break, so now it's even more of he has even more of an incentive to actually play those cards because he's played the bonsai. Yeah, so he's gonna try it. I understand going the no fate because you're worried about the assassination, and if Bill's got an assassination, it's gonna hit the deck right now, I imagine. He knew his hand, so he has to know that this is part of Leniel's game plan. Part of me thinks that Bill maybe shouldn't have even played the bonsai and just made it less worth. If he doesn't have the assassination, this is, and made it less worth Leniel playing that card, those two cards. Just so he can ready the Borderlands Defender. Part of me thinks that. And just take in a ring effect. Because this Brash Samurai is going to threaten a break, right? He's going to have 3 skill from the Stronghold, and then he's going to have a +3 pump here. And Bill's thinking, yeah, so the fact that he's thinking this heavily makes me think he's got an assassination. He's just worried about his honor total being low already, which is it is already a 7 because he spent 3 this turn, 2 on the policy debate and 1 just then on the bonsai. So I'm just having a look at how many he's playing. He's running 2, so it's somewhat likely he's got 1, given that he's seen about a quarter of his deck. Okay. Yeah, the assassination gets played. I think that's fair enough. It is going to put the squeeze on him for the next few turns. He's not going to be able to draw as many cards, and if he doesn't have a spyglass, it's going to make it a little tough. So I'm expecting a defend here. He can't let the Crane guy get a free break on this. This Karate District's going to do a lot of work in this matchup with the Crab Splash. Yeah. Rager's saying going down to 4 honor is pretty rough. I agree, but if he didn't do that right, he's going to lose another one at least on defense because it's going to be unopposed. He's going to potentially get a break. And if he goes for like airing, then it's only a 1 honor difference. It's tricky though. I agree. I think maybe bidding high in the policy debate was perhaps a mistake, given that he had I think it was 3 skill lead. It was 4-1, and he bid 3 to guarantee the win. I tend to bid high in policy debates personally as well, but it has cost me in the past. All right, so yep, so it's just going to be a 1 conflict. And he loses his second skirmisher. It's kind of rough. Earthring's super important. Leniel's identifying that Bill's going to be hamstrung with his bids for the next few turns, and he's only got 3 cards in hand, so mashing the Earthring is going to be the best call. So a good decision there by Leniel. Okay, so if you Bill, yeah, he's dumping the Satoshis. Just not going to get him what he needs in this matchup, and he's already seen the Karada. That's what you get, man. Thankfully, though, Bill did keep favor, which is going to be important with Yoshi on the table there. Crisis Breaker. Crisis Breaker is a really good character when you're a first player in Crab. Yeah. Rager makes a good point about the Artisan being used as a favor stick. That's fair enough too. I like the way that Leniel is just swarming the board. I That's what I do when I play Crane as well. I kind of play it a bit like Lion, I guess. And it's just... having more ways to start and defend conflicts is just super cool. Okay, so 1 bids. That's no surprise when a player's at 4 honor. So I suspect we'll see a military conflict with at least the Crisis Breaker. Probably air. Fire's also good. These favorable grounds make this turn interesting because they have parity with the ability to move. Yeah, Rag is suggesting Leniel can put on the squeeze. I agree. Like, having 9 cards in hand when your opponent has 4. I think it's worth losing the province, if you look at the game state, to have a hand advantage and an honor advantage. But on board, I think Bill's got a better board. It's going to last longer as well. All right. Okay, so this is a little bit unlucky to run it as Shameful, but it is a 33% chance. And he's gone for the Void Ring. Interesting he didn't go for the one with Fate. This is a denial. He wants to deny the Void Ring from Bill. And we see a mountain doesn't fall. So this is actually the only mountain that Bill has in his deck. I don't like this decision, personally. I'm just going to come right out there and say I know a lot of the crabs are a big fan of it, but this card's just too good. There's a reason it has 3 influence and that it's pretty feared. I understand that it's not as good against Scorpion and stuff, but I don't know. I like that card a lot. Okay, so Narishma's ducked out, and it's just going to be a pass. I'm wondering for Bill. Yeah, he's sitting at Meditations because it's already been used this turn. Makes perfect sense. Is he going to go Watering? This is kind of tricky because you want to have the Borderlands Defender for that second conflict on defense. So he's going to eject. Most likely he's going to eject with the favorable ground. He can't afford giving Leniel access to another conflict, I think. If he loses another Earth Ring, like, the game is in a really bad spot. If I'm Bill, what I'm going to be looking to do is just survive for the next couple turns. Try and equalize the honor state and just let the attrition of the crab take over. Because these characters, yeah, they're good, but they have a much more limited expiry date. Shane Ruman saying it's solid on Defender, the mountain. Yeah, I completely agree. Borderlands Defender, man, what a card. Great card, and very, very good on that character. It's becoming the character of choice for towers these days just because it's immune to a lot of those nasty effects, like for shame and defeat. Route, and so on. Alright, so they're skipping ahead. It's going to be a favor win for Leniel. This is pretty important. This is going to widen the hand advantage gap even further. I gotta think he's buying Yoshi. It's now or never, right? He's got the favor. He's got him in his row, and he's already discarded one. Challenge is pretty appealing though. He does go for Yoshi. So this enables him to continue bidding one, keep the honor pressure on, but to gain an immense hand advantage. Bill does have a little bit of hand control himself, and he's able to spew out these guys because he's been hoarding a bit of fate. So very nice for the crab. Mate, it's not a little stash. This thing is a magnificent badge. Now, I've been trying to do the I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show The Nick, but I've been trying to like shave in a pencil thin mustache like Clive Owen has in that show. I just love mustaches. I think they're fucking hilarious. Yeah, Reagan makes a good point. I kind of missed it because I was attending to some Discord business. Leniel passed to secure favor, which is a good play. The end of last conflict phase. So this is a tricky conflict phase to navigate for both players. When we see defend the wall, this is pretty bad because, yeah, almost certainly Bill's going to secure the win here and get to claim that Earth Ring, which is, it's not so big of a deal from Leniel's perspective for his hand, but for Bill's hand, getting a 25% increase in hand size just because this province happens to be the province he hits is pretty nice. Okay. Handsome Dan, what's up, man? Curly stash, yeah. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, man. I like big, thick, bushy, feral Australian mows from the 70s and 80s. Another watch commander. Oof. So yeah, so he's gained a fate from Keeper of Earth. He's discarded it for shame, and he's increased his hand size by 25%. Very unfortunate for Leniel. Is there any reason why he wouldn't go for meditations there? What do you guys think? Maybe it was a bit of a mistake. Like revealing defend the wall gives you an easier time later in the game, that's for sure. But it's a big immediate cost. I don't know about that. Seeing two for shames in the first 12... Sorry, two watch commanders in the first 12 cards is really nice as well. So Bill's past his conflict opportunity. That's not that surprising. And Shrewd Yasuki's going to kick off. So Bill's doing well to keep his card advantage going. Keep the wheels turning. Yeah, Raga thinks he agrees with going for meditations. Yeah, I'm the same. The problem is this reprieve in his hand is dead. It's a dead card because Karada's in play. So the Crab Splash is proving to be a little bit of a hindrance because I know he's got a Pathfinder's Blade and a reprieve, and these cards are just dead right now, which is pretty rough. Okay. So we're seeing a policy debate the other way. We knew that he had that in his hand, and we see what Bill's managed to pick up. Charge, Skirmisher. That's the third Skirmisher. Rebuild, Reprieve, and Way of the Crab. Way of the Crab is fucking gross right now. Unless you got an event cancel, that is vile. Yeah, so he does get rid of the Way of the Crab. Rebuild's strong as well. Although probably not for a little bit longer. Skirmisher's always good to get rid of. Bill's got a pretty good hand. So I'm expecting to see this Yoshi ability. Okay. That is, to me, that is insane to not draw 3 cards for free. Bill's just going to snipe the favor. This is really clever. So he snipes the favor, turns off Yoshi for the following turn. Oh, no! If he does this, he can move in the guy and then draw 3. Don't do it, Bill. The man forgot to use his Yoshi. Don't let him use it, bro. Take the favor. Okay. Well. Harrier hits the deck. Man, this is crazy. Like, why didn't he use Yoshi there? Like, he set up the whole turn to get this guy in play. Yeah, Bill actually flopped Karada. Leniel's, yeah. Dude, you had the favorable ground as well. You could have gone out on defense. It's alright, everyone makes these mistakes, especially on stream, in my case. That was just crazy to me, man, right? Like, he gave him Bill gave him a second chance to use Yoshi. They actually both made big mistakes. That's pretty nuts to me. I know that, I think Leniel just woke up, so I feel you, man. So did I. Just on the crack of noon, I woke up. Like, the play from Bill to put in the guy is great, right? You steal the favor because he's got a glory. The skirmisher. I don't know about that. This is like normally not a good flop, but in this case, pretty good. Because you've already got a huge board. You're getting a save. You're getting this, which is going to deny Yoshi in future turns. I'm still in shock after that last turn, though. The thing about the nature of this game is such that it's such a thought-intensive game, and there's so many decision points that even the best players in the world will make frequent mistakes. And so it's really just... Winning this game is about managing those mistakes. Or high-rolling, like I do. Alright. Back to the bid 1 situation. So I think by Bill dragging his honor so low, it's actually played into his strategy a little bit. Relying on his Dynasty deck's attrition. Having a Crane guy have a smaller hand size is actually really good for the opponent. And we're going to see firing. I think it's time to order some pizza, boys. What do we reckon? I'm an Uber Eats power user. I have my own line when I call them. They say, "Hello, Mr. Perry. How can I help you?" All right. So it's going to be firing. This Young Harry is a card that I just completely misread for about 2 months. I didn't realize you could use it out of a conflict, and that it lasted the whole phase. I thought it was in a conflict and only for that conflict. So it is actually quite a good character. And it does have that 1 glory stat, so you can sort of drop it into steal favor, which is kind of important for Crane. Rager's saying he's really going to regret missing that Yoshi. Yeah, you set up your whole 2 turns. It's the preceding turn and this turn, and perhaps future turns, just to get those triggers off. That hurts. Shane Ruman reckons it's an ugly flop. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you've already got board advantage. It gives you a save. So the Iron Mine's not ugly, right? Karada needs to stay there. And this card's good for this particular situation, right? So I'm not sure it's that bad. And flopping it on Shameful is awesome. But yeah, he's going to have a Fate surplus for the rest of the game. Yeah, he won't be able to spend... He'll have a Fate surplus for the rest of the entire game now. Which you're right, like, whenever you've got a resource that's just in surplus and you're not using it, well, that's a waste, yeah? I agree. Okay, so he's honored the Keeper, so he's just getting his High Glory guys honored. It's cool. Cautious Scout's going to come in. So there's another cool use of the Harrier, just preventing the Crane players' characters from being dishonored from the Ring of Fire. Pretty sweet. The Iron Mine's really nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good timing when you got these characters that are all about to leave play. We know he's got one reprieve in his hand, and one rebuild. So it's going to be really tough for the Crane player from here on out. I think his splash is really hurting in this matchup. I think it's quite good in other matchups. Like, it's pretty good in the mirror. It's not great against Dragon. It's kind of decent. Yeah, I got to say, I'm just not a fan of the Crab Splash, but it's something different. So I think people are really experimenting lately because of the sort of lull in new card news. Like, I'm playing Lion Splash, which I've been really liking in Crane. Rega's commenting that it's odd to not include the Challenger. Yeah. And he's just going to let him win the conflict. It seems really odd to me. So now I guess you just defend with Yoshi, use the trigger. I don't know, man. This Heater Guardian, right, is going to pump whoever he's defending with by +6. It's fucking mental. I'm just not sure that this particular Crane list has the tools to deal with the situation. When you're lacking the attachment hate, and you can't play, like, the cards you pay influence to splash, you literally can't play because the turn 1 Karada District is so ugly. I really feel for him. It's tough. So he's going to do the Yoshi first. Good man. Okay, so we see a mountain does not fall from the Crane. That's a good, very, very good card and a good time to play it. Maybe he can actually threaten a break here. He needs a way to deal with this Heated Guardian. Jesus. The other problem here is that he's guaranteed to not get the favor this turn, just because of this. So Yoshi's gonna... I mean, he's still gonna be a 5/9 courtier, which is nice, but... Alright, so we're gonna see the Heater Guardian just throw up a +6/+6. Oh, Talisman. So I believe that's a 1-of. Let me just double check that. That is a 2-of, so I like that as a 2-of as well. He's forgone the Gaijin Customs bill, which is interesting. Alright, so Talisman hits the deck. You use box and then you just decide if you want to move it, I guess. Oh, no, okay. He wants to remove Yoshi from the game. Fair enough. Yeah, the water ring on Defend the Wall is not that impactful. All right. I think outside of the Dragon Crab build, attachment-based splashes are a little bit risky to play. Even Bill's splash here of Unicorn is a little risky, I think. And especially in a clan like Crane, if you do decide to do like a crab splash, it means you lose out on your own attachment control. It's pretty rough. I'm just not sure which matchups it really helps that much with compared to, say, Dragon Splash. Yeah, I agree, Rhaegar. If you're playing Crane, you don't have like a tempo accelerator, a tempo accelerating suite like the Stand Your Grounds or the Reprieves, which you can't play, and you don't have big nukes like Fate Worse Than Death. You don't really have a lot of impactful cards apart from Noble Sacrifice, and he just hasn't been able to find them. However, we do see a bit of a board clear, which is definitely going to breathe a bit of a sigh of relief for Leniel, although he did lose Yoshi. And now we see two very, very powerful characters hit the board. Bill smartly gets rid of the Imperial Palace. So if Bill doesn't... Wow, with 4 Fate. If Bill doesn't have a conflict character, we're going to be seeing a priority on this Earth Ring, so we can use the Witch Hunters. Oh, he doesn't even buy the Witch Hunter. Okay. And Bill's feeling a little bit more confident. He's actually drawn 2 cards and decided to give a Fate to Leniel. Pretty good timing for Casada to hit the board. When I'm playing against Crab and it gets into these kind of more longer range slugfests, it always feels bad. Especially with Crane, I feel like you really need to get Ascendancy early and then just run them over. That's your path to victory, I think, in this matchup. Crab just do well the longer the game goes. It's just a fact. I wish we had stats for that sort of stuff. Like, what are clans' win rates if the game goes longer than an hour, or between 50 and 60 minutes, or between 30 and 40 minutes, you know? Like, I imagine Crane and Lion did really well in the between 30 and 40 minute mark, but poorly beyond an hour. Okay, so we are seeing... He doesn't want to do Earth. Void? Okay, so this is another do not. Wow, man, but like, let's defend the wall. This challenge is going to be leaving play. Rhaegar makes a good point that if he had used the Challenger last turn, the conflict, instead of the Cautious Scout, he could have harpooned in the Guardian and threatened to break. Yeah, it's a fair point. Yeah, I think it's a tricky matchup, the Crane v Crab matchup. You got to kind of high roll. Yeah, so this is... This is worrying because it's a clever play. So I imagine he'll send home... Yep. Sunem Kisada. So this is going to remove the fate from this challenger. Defend the Wall, man. There's been two very questionable conflicts at Defend the Wall. And it's actually done some serious work. When Bill only had 3 cards in hand, it got him the Earth Ring and a Fate from Keeper. And just then it's removed the last Fate from this challenger, which is like one of your A-grade characters in Crane's Dynasty Suite. So and Bill's past his conflict. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why you'd ever be going here now. Like, Manicured does nothing. The guy's got 10 Fate. I'd just be running at Manicured over and over. And if I've got no Fate in my guys, I go to Meditations. So he's using Challenger to negate Kasada. We see the charge. That is really rough, because now he can use this skill to defend, and then he can blow up. He can blow up the Witch Hunter himself, and ready that defender, and the defender can go and break Meditations. And go and get himself an Earth Ring, and get a Keeper. I think Bill's done well to exploit those maybe more questionable decisions in the first couple turns. Okay, so he's working out if he can actually win this conflict or not. Okay, so we're seeing a Talisman. Oh man, this Talisman's been doing a lot of work as well. So this is just going to get immediately stolen. There's almost no reason to not immediately steal this. Like, yeah, the guy gets a reprieve off on a Doji Challenger who's Dishonored. It's not that big of a deal. Yep, and he does do that. Alright, so we see the Shameful go off, and then it's pass. It's been a few turns since the Crane's been able to win a conflict. It feels like this has been really rough. And he does blow up the Steadfast, and we see Kisada readied. Makes a lot of sense. He's got the Pathfinders. And of course he's going for the Earth Ring, which is really, really nice for him. And because he elected to honor the Steadfast Witch Hunter as opposed to Kasada, he actually gained himself an honor in the process. So he's back up to 5, which is pretty comfortable now. He's saying use box, yeah. You got to have an action first, though, to cancel Kasada. Oh, yeah, it's military. Yeah, Rager reckons it's probably GG. I tend to agree. It's one of these things where the game can really slip from your grasp in this against Crab. Any clan that doesn't put away Crab early is going to struggle. Unless you got big fucking nukes like a Fate Worse Than Death. And lots of attachment hate. I think this Karata, like, playing with a Crab Splash with Karata from turn 1, your opponent having a Karata from turn 1 is already really, really hard to win that game. Okay, we see a charge. Yeah. So he's still getting crushed in this conflict, and the province is breaking. Katana? Well, he managed to save Shameful. And now the cool thing is he can actually reprieve Hataru, which is pretty nice. He's still going to lose favor. Oh! Guys, this is why you fucking play your reprieves as soon as possible. Play it as soon as possible. Earthring discards reprieve, and that idea just gets blown up. That is vile. Hopefully that is a lesson to be learned, though, because I used to do that. I'd try and save my reprieves for the maximal impact. But I think in most cases, you just got to make them hit the deck as soon as you can. And it's at this point that I'm willing to sort of say that I don't see a path to victory from here. It's just too much of a lead. You know what, though? It's the funny thing. It's if you're playing Crane, those sorts of mistakes can balloon. If you're playing a clan like Scorpion or even Crab, I feel like Crab's a lot more forgiving than other clans. And so you can kind of make these little errors, and it's like, oh, well, I'll just balance them out by flipping an Iron Mine, you know? And then we see the first Spyglass of the match. So that Dishonor win condition is completely evaporated, and it's looking really unlikely that a conquest win can happen. This is like the best card in the splash in the mirror, right? Because you can actually use it. In the crab splash against the crab opponent. That and the weenie covert guys are alright. Yeah, Rhaegar reckons concession would be fine, I agree. Crane as a clan just do not have much comeback potential. They're probably the weakest. Except maybe Unicorn. They really, if they lose their grip early, they get blown over a lot of the time. So he preferred to draw the card than honor the Brash Samurai, which is interesting to me. Unless that was a sequencing error, because he used Brash Samurai, Kisada cancels, then he uses Fertile Fields. It would be a Herculean comeback if he managed to win from here. And we see a policy debate. So it's 1-0. And Leniel secures the win by bidding 2. Smart play. Let me see Bill's hand. Yeah, I mean, what do you even take at this point? Reprieve? Fair enough. Play your reprieves, guys. Just play them. Way the Crane on Kaizen. Please don't run into defend the wall again. Just don't do it. I think he's got at least 2 ring triggers, perhaps 3, but I'm pretty sure it's 2. And two very impactful ones. Okay, so this makes a little more sense. You're already dishonored. It's going to turn off your Voice of Honors, though. Even more. So he's going to want to drag in that Borderlands defender. So we have an Honored Borderlands defender. Kisada's still on. This conflict's completely over. Talisman back to defend the wall. Yeah. He's moving into meditations. Yeah. This Talisman has done some savage deeds this game. And with the Void Ring still being unclaimed, I got to imagine that Bill goes for Void here. Just get rid of Kaiser, and then you've got just a massive board lead. I think Raga's got it right. That turn where he neglected to use Yoshi, that was really a tipping point in the match, because up until that point it was quite even. You invest a lot of fate and a lot of planning to get that Yoshi trigger, and if you miss it, it's 3 cards, man. Very, very costly. Every time I have a bad game like this, I just try and remind myself that at least it was in like an online tournament as opposed to Kotai, and I try and learn something from it. There are plenty of lessons to be garnered out of L5R matches, even if you're getting completely pounded. Alright, see you later, Raga. Thanks for watching, man. Kasada plus Witch Hunter for 4 rounds, yeah. Yeah, this is, I wouldn't begrudge any of you for dipping now. Political rival. Boom. Alright. So he managed to prevent the Void, which is pretty good. That is just not a good flip for the Crane. You want big guys. You want your champion or someone. Weenies just aren't going to get the job done. And we see just an absolute swarm from the Crab. And he's still got 5 fate left. Are we seeing away the Crab? Kaio Envoy's gone. Yep. Seems perfectly reasonable at this point. Even just getting rid of this guy is a +3 pump you can remove, which is nice. Alright. So no conflict from Leniel. It makes a fair bit of sense. I mean, running into that lineup is bordering on suicidal. The big problem I'm seeing is that How many rebuilds have we seen Bill use? I think he probably got another one. Okay, so Bill's given up his conflict opportunity as well. So this is clever. When you're second player, you think, oh, I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just going to go for the one break. And yeah, it puts the onus on Leniel to make a move here. Which is kind of the Crab's MO, really. It's more of a... I guess it could be summed up in, come at me, bro. Shane Rumens reckons Crab gets about 5 to 10% win rate from no time limit. Yeah, I think that's true. And 5 to 10% is huge, actually. It's a big jump. I also think that those like once games go beyond an hour, to be honest, I don't really enjoy them. Maybe 90 minutes max, and then after that I'm ready to give up, usually. I think that defending is just innately a little too strong because you have the advantage of having province strength to prevent your opponent getting objectives, plus the advantage of having the provinces themselves, which all like they're the strongest effects in the game for the most part. Like, I'd like to see more cards that benefit you only while attacking, like a bonsai but only for attack, that sort of thing. Okay, so Bill's going all in. And I just don't see what can happen here. I mean, a Kaizen duel? Bonsai into a Kaizen duel? I don't know. We see rebuild. Iron Mine's back in action. It's fair enough. Play it straight away. It protects it from getting policy debated. And then you got your Borderlands defender who's been around since round 1. Extending his life a little bit more into turn 8. It's pretty crazy that Crab can have a guy they buy around 1 extend into turn 8. Yeah, the closest thing to an aggro deck that we have really is Dragon Crab Splash, I think. Where you just load up a guy and go as hard as you can and try and get 2 breaks a turn. But even then, like, there's arguments to be said that playing that deck a little slower is stronger as well, so... I just think provinces are just a little too powerful overall. Like, if Shameful Display were a 2 province strength, people would still play it over in any other province almost. Even if it were a 1, I reckon a lot of clans would play it. A lot of people would play it. Now we see just a total board wipe. Shuichi with 4 Fate. Still got 6 in reserve. Shane's saying that they balanced Shameful Display by printing Feast or Famine to drag attention away from it. Yeah. I think the ones that, for me, that are really egregious: Shameful Display, Feast or Famine, Restoration of Balance. They're the 3 that are just totally vile. I think Pilgrimage is probably okay. Maybe it should have a 4 strength. I don't know. I think, like you said, the problem is, like, these cards aren't being used by aggressive clans best. They're actually best used by defensive clans, because you egg your opponent on to repeating these repeatable effects that they come outside of your decks. They're just so strong. All right, this may be it, guys. Do we know what Leniel's playing under his box? I suspect it's entrenched. Let's have a look. Yep, entrenched position. So we have a 23 skill count. Kisada's at play. We've got Karada to steal attachments. We've only seen one Bonsai from Bill, so it's likely he's got another one by now. I think 12 cards left in his deck. It's not looking likely. And he's going to end up packing it in there, so Leniel's called GG. Well, that was a fun game. Just came down to a couple early mistakes, and just having a turn 1 Karada against Crab Splash variant of Crane is already just a very, very difficult position to be in. And the longer these games go, the more opportunities there are for you to make these mistakes. And so if you're already in a bad mindset, or if you get tilted, even a little bit of tilt, it can really ruin you the longer the game goes. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my hungover solo cast. I'll be doing more of these as people ask me to do them. I love the game. I love talking about the game. And yeah, just hit me up on Discord or follow me or whatever. Cool. All right. I'll end that there. So I'll see you guys around.